Hello and welcome back to the IDG Corporate Update. Today, I'm delighted to welcome Miles Rideout, VP of Exploration for Argentina Lithium. Miles, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Now, in our last update with the company, we talked about the transformational $90 million investment from automaker Stellantis, which has fully funded your current projects. And today, it would be valuable to shift our focus to the projects you have underway. I know you just announced some new property acquisitions, but perhaps let's kick things off with an update on your existing key projects in the world-renowned Lithium Triangle.
Certainly. So for your listeners, I'll just point out that our projects are all in Argentina. It's a key point if you're looking at lithium brine properties in the Lithium Triangle. In Argentina, those projects are regulated the same way mining companies are regulated. Whereas if you go outside of Argentina into Chile or into Bolivia, they're regulated differently and they have special rules which are disadvantageous. Our focus for the last year has been the Rincon West project. That's up in northwestern Salta province. And we're on our 11th drill hole. We have another, let me see, another at least 9 more to go on this project, which will take us through to the latter part of next year, I think, maybe into Q3 next year. And one of the news items that we had was we've added 1,500 hectares onto this project, and that was a news release we put out, I think, last week. And our drill results are proving our hypothesis. When we acquired the Rincon West project, what we were seeking to demonstrate was that we have the same mid-grade concentrated lithium brines under our properties that exist under the Rio Tinto resource, which is located immediately to our east. And so our drilling's shown that. The first 9 holes, which have all been published, we have intervals of between about 150 to 250 meters thickness, with grades reaching as high as 402 milligram per liter lithium. And those brines then are comparable to what Rio Tinto has. So that was success for us. We're demonstrating that we have found what we sought to achieve. And now the objective is to drill out the project and get our resource and then move on towards a pre-feasibility.
Sounds good. So that's the Rincon West, and you have also the Antofalla North, I believe?
That's correct. So Antofalla is a much larger project. It's, again, we've added onto that property position recently. That came out in a recent news release. So that's 10,800 hectares there. So more than twice as large as our Rincon project. It's a similar scenario, though. So there's a major lithium producer, Albemarle Corporation, with a large tract of ground in the central part of the Antofalla Salar, and they have a large resource with, I believe, an average grade of 410 milligram per liter lithium. That's a really solid mid-grade value, and they have an enormous resource. Our project, Antofalla North, starts from the northern limit of the Albemarle ground and extends for 27 kilometers to the north. We're permitting now. I would expect that we will have our permits in place early next year. And then we're going to start a really ambitious drill program. It's such a large project. I imagine that before the dust settles, we'll have 30 exploration holes drilled there. Initially, we'll start with, say, 6 broadly spaced exploration holes to determine which are the hot spots of the Salar. And so the spacing on each one of those would be, say, 4-kilometer intervals, something like that. And then once we see which are the most prospective areas for lithium grade and for the best permeable host formation, we'll be drilling out or focusing drilling there first. But I think that we'll need to drill out the entire basin before we're done. And again, we'll get that into a pre-feasibility in about 2.5 years' time. And so that's the order. We've been focusing on Rincon. Coming up next is Antofalla North. These are 2 really first-class lithium brine projects, and we're funded through to take these to pre-feasibility and then come up with a production plan.
Wow, that is exciting. Nice that you're cozied up to major lithium producers on both of those projects.
Yes, that was not accidental. It was you need to make this decision sort of early in your property acquisitions. If you want to go far afield and make a brand new discovery, what we chose to do is focus in areas with advanced infrastructure. So we've got year-round road access, nearby towns, and on these two projects, there's actually a drilled out resource adjacent to us. We like low risk scenarios, and so we think this is about the lowest risk that our company could achieve.
Investors like low risk as well, so that's
Yes.
exciting. So speaking to new property acquisitions, I know you just announced some new properties in Argentina. It must be exciting to pick up properties you've been probably eyeing for some time. Is that different from the one you added to Rincon West, or are these new ones?
So there was one property added to Rincon West, and that was 1,500 hectares. And then this I mentioned previously, the second property was added to Antofalla North, immediately adjacent to our block there, and that was I forget the exact number, but about 800 hectares more of really prime solar property. These are excellent assets. With our property acquisitions, uh, first and foremost, we're trying to build on our core projects. So we're trying to add area where we can explore and add on resource, as opposed to going far afield and picking up a project at some distant location.
Right, right. And so what is the timeline then from, where you are to getting into pre-production and production?
Well, that's the people at Stellantis. They made it very clear to us that they would like us to accelerate our drive towards production as quickly as we can, and there's incentives for us to move quickly built into our investment agreement with them. If we can get into production earlier, there's actually a minor payout for the company. They will continue to invest another package in our company. So we're going to be pushing this forward as quickly as possible. But I would say we might have a pre-production or like a phase one pilot production operating at Rincon in perhaps 3.5 to 4 years' time. It's some permitting is required before we can do that. So that means we need to complete the pre-feasibility, present the pre-feasibility study to the province, request a production permit, and that process would likely take a year. And we'll be drilling out well fields during that year. And then we will be able to, once we have that pre-production with a production permit, we can build a phase one production plant.
Well, that's very exciting. Pedal to the metal on this one, then, I guess.
That's the feeling around here. Yes.
That's got to be a good feeling. Well, this is such an exciting story given the high demand for lithium, the lack of supply. And so obviously we look forward to further updates as things progress.
I think it'll be exciting times. I think this sector is well worth watching. And from our perspective, we're looking 3, 4, 5 years ahead, and not paying a lot of attention currently to the small bumps in the road, over the next 6 months. I think that it's a really strong sector, and we're still accelerating into much higher lithium consumption worldwide. I would suggest that investors would be well served to look closely at the sector.
Well, thank you again for this update today, Miles, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Bye for now.